I'm Ariane Comstock. We're talking about the opera Elixir of Love. Some say that wine is the real elixir of love, and it does seem to work in this opera. You'll see everything you can imagine, from the world's most famous melody, Una furtiva lagrima, a faint tear, to the most joyous of dancing, and it's just a charming story. You're going to love this performance. So much fun today, as opposed to last week. I hope you've gotten over the shock of last week's program. I did the best performance I could think of and the worst performance I could think of. And the worst performances were pretty bad, weren't they? It was fun. But today is pure pleasure. You'll cry, you'll laugh, and you will really have a fun day. It's the best performance I can think of one of my favorite operas, The Elixir of Love, L'ELISIR d'Amore. Is the composer of this opera, who's a name that you all should know, Donizetti, Gaetano Donizetti. He's considered one of the three bel canto composers, as we have discussed to death before, and in the first class of this semester. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. This is his wife, who looks like, it's very interesting how painters tend to mold the looks of their subjects to the style of the day. My father was painting in the 1930s, and he drew all these pigeon-breasted women, which women didn't like, but he thought that that was beautiful, and so he did do it. It was just a look of that period. I think if you look at the people that considered great beauties, Madame de Montespan, I should say, was considered the greatest beauty of her time. And we look at her now, and by our standards, she really doesn't look at all like Beyonce, or the Kardashians. And this is a beautiful. Are we pushing on through the painter Schiavone? He was a very popular man in Paris and in Italy, and unfortunately, he went mad. They think perhaps from syphilis. And he lived the last 8 or 9 years of his life in a terrible condition where he was incapable of even playing the piano or recognizing his melodies on the piano, which is it's such a sad ending. There's a book on the horrible endings of composers, which I can't say I advise you to read. There's a very beautiful monument, and that's the muse of tragedy, actually, Melpomene. I think of Donizetti as being a rather cheerful composer, but let's not forget he did write Lucia di Lammermoor and a number of other tragedies. And the last is a list of Donizetti's operas by year, which I think that Gordon put up so that if you like to check out the class on Vimeo, he always gives you the link down at the bottom. Or if you go to Gordon Stubbs on Vimeo, all of the visuals, not the lectures, there are a couple of lectures up as well. But those visuals, and you should look at the ones from last week, are up on Vimeo, and you go to that link, you will find them.
Once was enough.
Sorry. It's an opera that's probably one of the 20 or 30 most performed in the world, and this is an overall look at the opera with the Royal Opera House in London. And I thought it would be good. I like to show you sort of different stagings, and this is a different one with my new cougar crush. The good thing about a cougar crush is there's no limit to them. It could be anyone. I'll show you another one next week, which is really worth lusting after. In an intellectual way. So this is the Royal Opera House with Vittorio Grigolo, and I think you all did love him. Everybody liked him in Scarpia. We don't have any complaints about him, okay?
L'Elisir d'Amore, The Elixir of Love. It is the opera that everyone should see as a first opera.
drama-wise, character-wise, brilliant. It's musically brilliant, and it's very funny.
It's got a beautiful storyline, cute. It has unexpected twists and turns. It has vocal gymnastics. Maybe it is the best opera that's ever been written.
Someone says that Donizetti composed in 2 weeks. Another says maybe 6 weeks. But I mean, the general concept is he was really fast to compose this immortal opera.
Adina is a wealthy landowner. She's independent, she's feisty, she's strong-minded. She's the sort of gal that everybody wants to be, sort of person that you all want to have as your best friend. I say she's nice. She's not particularly nice to Nemorino, but she is to everybody else.
I'm playing Nemorino. He's very shy, he's trying to get her attention. She doesn't obviously demonstrate love to him, so the only way to have her in a very close contact is to have this kind of little fights together.
They've got used to bickering with each other constantly. They're cat and mouse. She's the cat. Actually, all it is because she adores him so much, but she doesn't quite know how to express it.
Belcore is the bad boy. I know very well the bad boys because I am baritone. All baritone is bad boy. And he's a crazy guy. My entrance is a Chip and Dale show because when I come to the stage, I will dance a little bit and I will shock the girls. He don't want really love. He want only sex, I think so.
She loves the power struggle between her and Belcore. She loves the flirtation. She really loves the flirtation.
I play the role of Dr. Dulcamara, who is this quack doctor traveling around different villages, selling his products. He's not a bad character, but his remedies maybe are a little bit questionable. Character Dulcamara himself is the juiciest of Cabernet Sauvignon that you could ever taste. Witty. Some fantastic lines to be sung. He comes into this village and totally takes over, makes a packet. This young, forlorn character comes wanting an ELISIR in his problems in love.
In Italy, we say that where we are in love, we have the eyes covered by prosciutto. So it means that we see not very clear. So I couldn't understand that this was Bordeaux and not ELISIR, and I was getting drunk instead of getting her in love with me. So this is a beautiful story.
To conduct this piece, it's an absolute delight, no? Because you can swim inside all this sparkling and crispy music. It's like to eat pasta al dente. You have to feel in your teeth. No? The rhythm and the articulation has to be really precise. Despite the fact that it is a comic opera, Donizetti's melodies are more about the melancholic side, and that's why he's a key figure between Rossini and Verdi, because he anticipated so many of the great Verdi moments.
We're all having fun, we're all giggling backstage, so that's a good sign.
It's a good atmosphere, you know, in the rehearsal.
And you say, and I want to keep 4 bars.
I like chicken.
I'm bad.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start. Enjoy the evening. I'm sure you will feel intoxicated.
I asked Gordon to stop on this for a minute because I think she has a crush on him too. Yeah. It's so cute, the look in her eyes, it's so cute.
Love is the main theme in this opera. Love is not cheesy. Love is the most wonderful thing in the world.
I'm going to play for you now this melody, which is, everyone knows the melody and loves it. It's one of the most popular in all of opera. I know Grigolo doesn't sing like Pavarotti, but Pavarotti couldn't have filled his jeans either. So, una furtiva lagrima. This is where he's in love with a girl and praying that she loves him, and he sees a tear, a furtive tear in her eye that might indicate that she cares for him too.
Suoi sospiri sure. I couldn't give him.
Well, that's part of the production. Hey, come on, he's supposed to be a country bumpkin. I thought that I would take advantage of the opportunity to read you a very excellent translation, which is by me. And I'll pass the score around if you want to see it. I have the page marked in it. I'm just going to read some of you. This, there are 4 main characters in this, and it's unusual that there are 4 who actually have even parts. Adina is the soprano and the heroine, a wealthy landowner. And Nemorino is the boy who loves her so dearly, and he is one of the peasants, because all of them are peasants, except for Adina. And then into the town comes the Sergeant Belcore with the soldiers. And in those days, soldiers always wore splendid in uniforms. Anyway, he comes into town. His name is Belcore, and he is the rival for the affections of Adina. The last character is probably the most colorful and the most fun. His name is Dr. Dulcamara. He is your typical medicine man, and he has this liqueur, or liquore in Italian, that is magic. It will cure anything. This is what Dulcamara says, according to Ariane. This is the perfect remedy, miraculously potent, to rid you of ELISIR, mice, or any other rodent. This tonic and senility, rejuvenates fertility. One man of 87, already half in heaven, grandfather has become to some 10 children, maybe more. 10 children he grandfathered, maybe more. This ever-loving liquor, in 7 days or quicker, has dried the tears of widows who have never smiled before. You matrons of mature appeal, does growing old depress you? This tonic will eradicate the wrinkles that distress you. Young ladies, are you dreaming of skin like satin gleaming? Young men, increase your chances for plentiful romances. Just buy my magic medicine, the price is very low. I'll sell it cheap, you know, the price is very low. You clever, brave young fellows, you clever, brave young widows, come try my magic medicine, for you the price is low. It moves the paralytical, peps up the apoplectical, asthmatic and dyspeptical, the rheumatic and the skeptical. It perks up the persnickety, the scrofulous and rickety, the cirrhosis of the liver. That's in fashion, you know. A marvelous insecticide, all ailments will be rectified. It heals the paralytical, peps up the apoplectical. But buy my magic medicine, you widows and young damsels, you gentlemen and gallant, for you the price is low. Just step up here, widowers, come step right up. Da, 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 da. If you think that was easy to do, I mean, it's hard to speak it, but the translation, and it's true to the Italian words, it was really very hard. So here is a character that I'm sure you didn't expect, Bryn Terfel as Dr. Dulcamara. Well, I've never been a great fan of Bryn Terfel. It's just the way he looks, I guess. I'm personally prejudiced against him. But he looks better in this clip than I've ever seen him look, although, well, you'll see.
Io già suppongo e immagino che al par di me sappiate ch'io sono quel gran medico, dottore enciclopedico, chiamato Dulcamara, la cui virtù preclara e i portenti infiniti son noti all'universo e in altri siti. Benefattor degli uomini, il riparator dei mali, in pochi giorni sgomberò io spazzoli ospedali e la salute a vendere per tutto il mondo io ho. Compratela, compratela, per poco ve la do. Compratela, compratela, per poco ve la do. Compratela, compratela, per poco ve la do. E questo l'odontalgico, mirabile liquore dei topi e delle cimici, possente distruttore, di cui certificati, autentici bollati, toccar, vedere e leggere, a ciaschedun farò. E questo mio specifico, simpatico, prolifico, un uom settuagenario e valetudinario, nonno di 10 bamboli, ancora diventò, di 10 o 20 bamboli, qui nonno diventò. Per questo tocca e sana, in breve settimana, più d'una afflitta vedova di piangere cessò. O voi, matrone rigide, in giovanir bramate, le vostre rughe incomode, con esso cancellate, volete voi donzelle ben liscia aver la pelle, voi giovani galanti per sempre avere amanti. Comprate il mio specifico, per poco ve lo do, per poco ve lo do, per poco ve lo do. Da bravi giovinotti, da brave vedove, comprate il mio specifico, per poco io ve lo do. I muovi paralitici, spedisce gli apopletici, esfatici, esfinici, isterici, i diabetici, guarisce timpaniditi, e scrofole rachiditi, e fino al mal di fegato che in moda diventò. Mirabile per cimici, mirabile per fegato, guarisce paralitici, spedisce gli apopletici. Comprate il mio specifico, voi vedove e donzelle, voi giovani e galanti, per poco ve lo do. Avanti, avanti vedove, avanti, avanti bamboli, comprate il mio specifico, per poco ve lo do, sì sì per poco ve lo do, sì sì per poco ve lo do, sì sì per poco ve lo do. L'ho portato per la posta lontano 1000 miglia, mi direte quanto costa, quanto vale la bottiglia? 100 scudi? No! 30? No! 20? Nessuno si scomenti. Provarvi il mio contento, dissi amico accoglimento, io vi voglio buona gente, uno scudo regatar. Uno solo ecco qua, così, stupendo, sì balsamico elisir, tutta Europa sa ch'io vendo, niente men di 9 lire. Ma siccome pur palese ch'io son nato nel paese, per 3 lire a voi lo cedo, sol 3 lire a voi richiedo. Musica. Così chiaro è come il sole, che ciascuno che lo vuole, lo scudo bello e netto in saccoccia io faccio entrar. Lo scudo bello e netto in saccoccia faccio entrar, in saccoccia faccio entrar. Gran miracoli può far. Gran miracoli può far. dolce affetto, sa miracoli può far, sì, sì, oh, far, sì, sì, oh, oh, sì, sì, oh, far, può, far, può, far, può, far,
Yes, yes, Robert.
That was very funny in Dutch.
It was.
Each
It's funny
language
in
has
English,
its own
too.
intricacies,
Yes, yes.
some formal, some
Yes.
not. But that was hilarious in Dutch.
Yeah, it is. It is very charming. I hope you all take time to read my translation, which happens to be right here. I'll pass it around the other way. No, I want you not to miss the next clip because it's very touching. You know that one of my earlier crushes, and continuing, is with Rolando Villazón. And we've spoken about how he lost his voice and he went through everything. But to hear him talk about it, he's coming back, he's singing the lighter roles in Europe, Mozart and recitals and concerts. He has a TV show in Paris if you happen to be there. It's, I think, a monthly TV show. This is a very touching interview with him that I just had to share with you.
You were famously discovered in your singing in your shower, I
Yeah.
think it was. That was your breakthrough. Was there ever a time when you didn't sing? You don't remember singing?
I mean, no, singing has been always there. I mean, for medical reasons, I stopped singing for a time, and it was.
How was that? Was that a difficult
Yeah,
for you?
that was very difficult. That was very difficult, and I discovered that for me the most important. I mean, for those who don't know, I went through an operation, and a very difficult operation, one of my vocal cords, and then I had 1 year to recover. I actually spent 3 months learning how to speak again because I couldn't speak, and then 3 months to put just 8 notes together to be able to sing. And so it was a very, very long process. And in this long process, the one thing I told all my doctors and my coaches and everywhere, I said, there's only one thing I want to get back. It's to be able to sing. I don't know if I will be able to do it professionally. I don't know if I will be able to go back to Covent Garden or to be a recording artist. But the one thing I want is to sing to my kids a lullaby, is to sing when I'm in the shower. It's missing so in my life. And actually, like 6 or 7 months later, I took my kids to bed, and I said, okay, here we go. And I sang a very simple song that I used to sing to them. Ricky ron, vamos a mecernos al sillón. And I finished the song, and I came back in tears with my wife, and I went to them, to my team, and I said, we've made it. From here, whatever happens, it's just, you know, we are going just...
It's just career and
yeah,
money.
yeah. And, well, no, because I still didn't know. I said, but this was the goal. And it was very important to discover that the most precious thing for me was to be able to sing and to sing for others, you know, whether it's 3, 2, or myself. Because singing to oneself is singing to another. So singing is the most important thing in my life, and I'm very happy that I was able to go all the way and come back and be on the greatest stages in the world and continue to share and to connect. But the vision, the way I approach music is so much richer, is so much full of, how can I say, admiration towards the work, towards the human contact. It became a dialogue. A beautiful human dialogue. It has not. I have, as a singer, I've achieved everything that a singer can really achieve, and so it's only artistic now. It's only on a human level. It's only this connection that you feel when you are in the theater, and for 3 hours you are performing this glorious music. You know that you are in a moment. It's like a wave. There is only one in the history of humankind. It looks the same as many other waves. Bohème will be performing with many other great singers, but at that moment when you are doing it, and
Never
what you're
again
doing
on
with
this
these
night.
colleagues, and with this orchestra, and with the audience, you feel it. It's 3 hours where time stops, reality stops, and we are all connected thanks to music in this extraordinary musical and emotional moment. And that has no price.
Isn't that beautiful? And I've chosen what I think is the definitive production of the Elixir of Love. I don't think it gets any better than this. They're all good. They're always good. It's just a charming, charming opera. There's cutting it to decide what parts to show you today was really, really difficult because, as you'll see, everything is so charming. It opens up with Adina, as a wealthy landowner, is having a lunch at her farm. The workers are coming in for a meal, and she is reading a book. Now, reading a book was already very rare, and that makes Adina a very rare person. And so she's reading aloud to the workers, and she's laughing because it is the story of the magic elixir that made Tristan and Isolde fall in love. Anna Trebko, with Rolando Viason and Ildebrando d'Arcangelo, and Leo Nucci, who has starred in many things at the Met as well.
vezzoso, forse le provo alla più bella via diretta villanella, io ti porgo questi fior, ma di lui più glorioso, io di lui felicio solo, poi che premio del mio dono, poi che premio del mio dono, ne riporta le tue belle cor.
Modeste signorine, davvero,
Con io dispetto, ecco chiaro in quel visino, io appreciare il suo petto. Non è cosa sorprendente, son galante e son sergente, tua bella per resista alla vista d'un ciniero, c'è d'amarte io guerriero in la madre dell'amor, c'è d'amarte io guerriero in la madre dell'amor, io d'amarte io guerriero in la c'è de amarte Dio guerriero in la madre dell'amor. Forse mani, con mio cavo, che ti parli a rendertarmi. Idol mio capitoliamo, in quale mio vuoi tu sposarmi?
signorino, io non l'ho fatta, una difensatina.
Ma infelice, c'è la cieca, disperati amabilo. Capitoliamo,
It establishes, of course, that Nemorino is in love with Adina, and he asks her why does she flirt with everybody, because she flirts pretty heavily with Belcore, and he gets, of course, very jealous. And he says, why do you flirt with everybody? And, you know, his heart is breaking, and she answers this.
Tempo Dio non perdere, ora di giorni e ore, in guerra ed in amore, e fallo indugiare, al vincitore arrenditi, da me non puoi scappar, no, no, al vincitore arrenditi, da me non puoi scappar, no, no, non puoi scappar, no, no, non puoi scappar.
Vedete di quest'uomini, vedete un po' d'amore, già cantano vittoria, e date di volare, non è
That production, he arrived in a balloon.
In a balloon,
yeah,
absolutely.
That was fabulous. Here he comes. He talks about the wonderful elixir that he has and how it will cure everything. And Nemorino is listening to this with the greatest of interest because he thinks if he can get hold of this wonderful elixir of love, that he will be able to win Adina's heart.
Forse il cielo mandato espressamente per mio bene quest'uom miracoloso nel villaggio della scienza sua voglio far santo. Dottore, perdonate e perché possediate segreti portentosi sorprendenti la mia saccoccia e mi fanno nel vaso. Avreste voi, per caso, la bevanda amorosa della regina edotta? Ah, che cosa? Voglio dire, lo stupendo elisir che desta amore. Ah, sì, capisco, intendo, io ne son distinto. E sia vero, sì, se ne fa gran consumo in quest'età. Oh, fortuna, me ne vendrete ogni giorno. E col prezzo ne prende poco assai, o troppo è, secondo un zecchino, un altro qua, e la somma che ci fa. Ehi, dottore, un momentino. In qual modo usar si puote? Un riguardo, pian pianino, un bottiglia un po' si scuote, poi si stura ma si para che il vapor non se ne vada, quindi all'altro l'ambicino e lo bevi a centellini e l'effetto sorprendente non è tardi a conseguir sul momento a dire il vero necessario un giorno intero tanto tempo sufficiente per cavarmela e fuggir e il sapore eccellente sì, tutto mio, come ser de possente, la tua virtù, se non venuto ancora, di tanta gioia, già mi fai mi ma perché mai l'effetto non ne possio vedere, prima che un giorno inter non sia trascorso, va sì. Oh buono, oh caro, un altro sorso. Oh qual di vena in vena, dolce calor mi scorre, ah forse anch'essa, forse la fiamma stessa incomincia a sentir, e certo la sente, me l'annunzia la gioia e l'appetito, che in me si risvegliò tutto in un tratto. La 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 la. Tra la la, ai ai ai, diamine, tesa, ma no, non ci appressiam, de miei sospiri, non si stanchi per or. Tant'è, domani adorarmi dovrà quel caro spietato.
The next act takes place on her farm. She's giving a dinner for the whole town to celebrate her wedding. He's just pretending to be an old man that he's rich and she's beautiful and he wants to marry her.
vincitore, qual becco nuvoletta.
Non è gente, se lì non è presente, competa non ne parla mia vendetta.
Andiamo a segnar l'atto, il tempo affretta.
He goes off, and the girls of the village come in because Dulcamara has told them a great secret. He's been in other towns, and he has found that Nemorino's uncle has left him a large fortune. So Nemorino is now a very rich man, and all the girls are very interested in him, which he thinks is because he drank the magic elixir.
tagliarmi il giovinotto, tutto portente gli è, nel mio decotto. Pazzie, voi dite incredula, pazzie. Sapete voi dell'alchimia il poter, il gran valore, dell'elisir d'amore, della regina Isotta. Isotta, io non d'ogni mistura e d'ogni cotta. E me lo chiese per ottener l'affetto di non so qual crudele. Languiva, sospirava, senza ombra di speranza, e per avere una goccia del farmaco incantato e della libertà si fe soldato. Essa pure innamorata ha bisogno del liquor. Tutto il sesso femminino ebbe il giovane impazzato, tutto il sesso femminino ebbe il giovane impazzato. E nel gallo della picca tutte segue, tutte picca, e nel gallo della picca tutte segue, tutte picca. Essa pure innamorata, essa pure innamorata. Ha bisogno del liquor, ha bisogno del liquor, e il gallo della picca, e il gallo della picca tutte segue, tutte picca, tutte segue, tutte picca. Essa pure innamorata, essa pure innamorata, ha bisogno del liquor. Essa pure innamorata, 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 essa pure innamorata, ha bisogno del liquor. Essa pure innamorata, essa pure innamorata, essa pure innamorata, ha bisogno del liquor. 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 Bella vita, buon momento, io l'appresso sulla testa, e tu sei fatta, io l'argomento, a quell'aria afflitte mesta, se tu vuoi. Sulla testa schizzinosa, se tu vuoi giullare in città, e tu al quale impotrà, se tu vuoi giullare in città, e tu al quale impotrà, se tu vuoi giullare in città, che tu al quale impotrà, se tu vuoi giullare in città, che tu al quale impotrà.
The next is the most famous scene of all. She comes down and she has bought off his commission from the army so that he won't have to go away. And she says, I don't want you to go off and leave the village where people love you, that you are of such good character and you deserve everything in the world. And he says, no, if you don't love me, then I'm going to go and I'll die in the war. And then that leads into the ending you can imagine. Their duet is so charming, and the end of their duet is really adorable.
naturale, opera ed amore. il core, ve ne darà questo elisir d'amore. E corregge ogni difetto, ogni vizio di natura, e fornisce di perfetto la più brutta creatura. Camminare, fare nozze, schiaccia coppie, appiana bozze, ogni incomodo tumore copre sì che più non è. Amore a me, dottore, Redinetti dalle stelle, io vi lascio un gran tesoro, tutte lui salute belle, allegria, fortuna ed oro. Rinverdite, rifiorite, impinguate ed arricchite, e la notte tornerà, poi sa presto
Really charming production. We'll just leave them that way. I think that they're having too much fun. Thank you so much. Next week we'll be a little more serious with Candide and Voltaire and Leonard Bernstein. I see you then. Thank